30 years ago, since she performed, ironically, for the 30th anniversary of Bob Dylan, one of her great influences. This documentary just came out, and I want to just play with some sections for you on this documentary on Sinead. Nothing compares.
I'm real proud to introduce this next artist whose name's become synonymous with courage and integrity. Ladies and gentlemen, Sinead O'Connor.
You notice that half the audience is cheering, and a great portion is also booing because of her outspoken comments. Sinead has very strong convictions.
Turn this up until the philosophy which holds one race superior and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned. Everywhere is war.
What was it that gave her this emotion? Where is her strength coming from? And where is her direction coming from? The crucifix.
My parents separated when I was quite young. My mother was a very violent woman, not a healthy woman mentally at all. She was physically and verbally and psychologically, spiritually, emotionally abusive.
A lot of powerful imagery here.
Why were my grandparents so miserable that they couldn't have a kiss without feeling like they were going to burn in hell?
What a question. What a concept. Why would God be against kisses?
The church influenced everything. If it was a sin, then it was against the law of the state.
Separation of church and state not happening. Sinead now goes by a different name, raised very devoutly Catholic in her own words. As a young adult, got into spiritualism and some very different things. And I believe now she still identifies as a Muslim. And so she has been on quite a journey. I'm going to see if I can find a clip here where she talks a bit about how her mother treated her, or mistreated her, I might say.
Traumatic things that happened to me growing up was that my mother had me living in the garden. So once when I was 8.5, I lived in the garden 24/7 for a week or two.
8.5 years old.
And I'd be looking up at the only window at the side of the house where she'd have a light on, and I'd be screaming, begging her to let me in, and she wouldn't let me in. The light would go off, the house would go dark.
Mum, please let me in.
Every other song I'm writing is about somebody else, or from the point of view of somebody else. Troy's the first song I've written about me.
She got very upset with the church, and I'd suggest rightfully so, for the tremendous mistreatment of ladies in Ireland in the 18th, 19th, and even the 20th centuries, believe it or not. The Magdalena laundries, as they called them, were asylums where women who were no longer chaste, pure virgins, would be locked up and kept out of harm's way, out of the public eye, molested or abused, perhaps even by, as in the documentary suggests, possibly by the religious elite or the upright and spiritual leaders of the community who pretend to be better than that. I'm sure that kind of hypocrisy rankles the senses of any decent person. It looks like Sinead herself spent 18 months locked up in this institution.
The cause of my own abuse was the church's effect on this country, which had produced my mother. I spent my entire childhood being beaten up because of the social conditions under which my mother grew up, and under which her mother grew up, and under which her mother and her mother grew up.
And the obvious question comes, where does God fit into all this? Does God create this kind of mess? Do humans masquerading as God's ambassadors create this mess so that God gets the blame for it? There has been a Star Wars battle between good and evil. Alexander Solzhenitsyn, who said, "The war between good and evil crosses every human heart." I don't know if we can point fingers at other people and say that we are better than them, but maybe we can look to the past mistakes and hope that we can do better than we have. And I would like to encourage my identifying Christian religious brothers and sisters to stand up and apologize. We have, as believers in God, done a pretty terrible job of representing love the way love is really supposed to be. Sinead herself just about vomits on camera when she hears a very famous religious leader telling the world that he loves everybody with specific reference to the people in Ireland. And Sinead says, "He doesn't love us, he doesn't love me. Look how he's treated us," and a few expletives. I wonder if we were to actually look at the life of Jesus Christ and treat people the way Jesus treated people. Jesus was very gentle to those who were defenseless and unable to support themselves. And embarrassingly, Jesus was much more direct and blunt to the spiritual and religious leaders who should have, would have, could have known better. Maybe that could be an indictment to us if we think we are high and mighty holy rollers. Well, I hope that doesn't disturb you too much. I do encourage you to be kind to others and look to the heart of Jesus rather than to the mistakes of religious humanity for your picture of God. Thank you so much and have a great day.